Well, I really must be going to bed. But gosh darn it, and I was thinking about doing quite a few responses to Diannetex, as I lovingly call her, and the nuttiness just I don't with any of these SPTV people. And granted, and I want to be very careful here because there are some not crazy ex-Scientologists, but I would have to be honest. And again, I'm not talking about the SPTV people, although maybe they were secretly SPTV at this point. I don't care. Uh, as a rule, the vast majority of ex-Scientologists are have a sort of entitlement mentality. And again, this is my own experience. As a rule, they'll try to control you, and they will use every trick in the book to control you, like every little thing, and just bark orders. Say, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I get it. If you spent years in a very hierarchical institution, you start thinking like that, thinking, I give orders. This is my Sea Org. I'm captain and lieutenants. You obey me now. And so it's a cold shower when, the vast majority, like 99% of the universe is like, no, you don't give orders. Or if you give orders, nice, bye, and just walk away. They can't seem to fathom that. But I give you the order. It's from my Sea Org. Well, you can say that all you like. It don't mean nothing. But I just want to note that there are some good ex-Scientologists. But boy, as a rule, the majority of them, yeah, they just seem to look at people like they're in their weird little army. And it's like, no, no, we didn't join your weird little army. That didn't happen. But, it is what it is. Okay, so Dianetics is a believer in democracy. So let me quote her. I have no clue. I mean, I guess, okay, I try to be generous. Maybe she's not being dumb. Okay, but let's see. So this is her post. I have some questions. I'm a firm believer in democracy, so my decision will be based on the majority vote. Like, this is the part where me having an actual brain would tell her, democracy is not equal to majority vote. That is not what democracy is. There are some democracies that are based on that, but it's not like democracy is majority vote. You can have majority vote in various different systems, with or without democracy. Those are two different things. Conceptually, there's democracy, and then there's the voting systems. Maybe grow a brain. But let's continue. Booths altered a video of mine using AI over my voice. He told his buddy Slavanzo to send it to the FBI, which is highly illegal. FBI has the IP address where the video altered. Like, where do we begin? So, just a few weeks ago, uh, Beyonce here was bragging, literally bragging, guys, I was fortunate to Scientology, blah, 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 and I escaped to the cholos and the black gangsters. I rode with gangsters and thieves and criminals. Yeah, I took the drugs, put them in my systems. So she's literally boasting. Apparently, she was super dangerous gangster girl growing up. Why would you be snitching to the FBI? That's not what people who grow up in the ghetto do. That don't even add up. We'll also put aside the insane racism that's like, you don't know black people. I know black people. And it's like, oh, what do you mean? I grew up with black criminals. So that's her idea of black people. They're just criminals. And you might tell her, maybe there are black people who are not criminals. No, no, no. See, she's a tough gangster girl. She's such a tough gangster girl, guys. When she became an adult, you know what she did? She stayed in Scientology. So yes, tough gangster girl after the age of 18 stayed in Scientology. I got you have no idea the brainwashing. I thought you were tough, super ghetto Jay-Z woman. You're like a mill, right? We're gonna name everyone Lauryn Hill, right? Queen Latifah. She was in the hard streets. She was in the tough streets. Also, she keeps bragging about this. I know the Cholo, the gangster, the Italian mafias. Why don't you just put a phone call to all these alleged super gangsters and just tell them, hey, get rid of Scientology in 2 seconds? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Since you have all these connections. Since you're like so embedded in the criminal networks. Like apparently she's a crime boss lady. Okay, why don't you just do that? Pick up the phone, tell the local homeboys or whatever, hey, stop Scientology. Why don't you just do that? Nah, I don't know. I don't know. She doesn't have a phone, I guess. She can't use a phone, I guess. So super gangster woman is like, I'm using my AI and that's highly illegal. Cause that's what real gangsters do. They get upset over AI. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a thing. This is a real thing in music. Studio gangsters. You know, like maybe people who grew up in the ghetto and were like kind of around real gangsters and magically pretend I was the gangster the whole time. And you ask, oh, what did you do? I was like 2 blocks away from the gangster people. And then narrate a life they never led. I'm guessing she's falling under that broad category. She's a studio gangster. Because that's what she sounds like. Somebody totally fake and phony who maybe visited the ghetto 3 times, really scared, and then ran away. But now it says, I hung with cholos and bolos and colos, Poco. And her Spanish is beyond stupid and awful. So, and by the way, I like how she keeps changing her ethnicity, saying, I never claimed to be full Latina. I'm 1/4 Ukrainian, 1/5 Tibetan. I'm half Chinese too. Okay, so you're not really Hispanic. Oh, let's not forget, this is an all-time favorite. She called me a racist for using the word Latino, even though she used the words herself. I know this from memory, but don't worry, I'll find a screenshot. She's used the word. So, are you also a self-admitted racist? Also, why is that a racist term? Oh, because the Nixon administration. Maybe she needs to do this thing called look up genetic fallacy. Just because a word comes from a bad place doesn't make the word or concept necessarily bad. Like democracy, that's not an English word, guys. It didn't come from Ingles nor Espanol. It comes from another language. So, right? That's not technically relevant. Just because a vocabulary comes from a colonial or language of the outsider doesn't tell us it's bad. That's not technically relevant. But apparently to her, you use the word Latino, you're a racist. For reasons. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh, let me get to the main subject. But I did stop. And don't worry, I've seen the entirety of her other videos. Although God, like, and I'll prove it because oh boy, she didn't say anything. But anyway, basically it's just her posts, her old posts, and she just verbalized them. But anyway, for this one, and I stopped after like a couple minutes because it's getting dumb. She's complaining and guys, I'm suffering because allegedly this old woman, we'll call her Jay. Jay, she's been stalking, harassing me. The woman is over 70. Let's say that's true. Let's say that's all true. Let's just say let's believe her lies for 3 seconds. Okay, so you're afraid of a white woman over 70 years old. You also claim to be hardcore Latina, hardcore gangster ghetto background, just hardcore gangster period. She's a really tough girl. She's tough. She was a stripper. I've been in places. I was at the strip club. I was in the ghetto. I survived Scientology. But you're scared of a woman who's over 70. She's also scared of another woman who's disabled. Uh, is that what tough gangster women do? They're afraid of women online who are disabled? Oh, by the way, the disabled woman lives in England. What does she think is going to happen? Disabled woman is going to magically jump across the ocean and do something to her? What if she did? You're tough gangster woman. Why would that matter? Just use your tough ghetto knowledge. Stop her. You have an army, apparently, of gangster people, but you're not using them against Scientology. Why? I don't know. Maybe you get your two not really real black friends, because I'm sure this is all mythical. Okay. Because apparently she does. She has dozens of black. We can't call them Latino. I guess we'll call them whatever. What are we going to call them? We can't call them Latino. Mexicanos? What? Who are they? Cubanos? Okay, just maybe borrow from your army of not real ghetto people. Uh, borrowed three of them because apparently she does. She lays with 50 hardcore Cubanos, Mexicanos, and black people. They're in the streets. They're hustlings. Maybe just borrow one of them for protection to be bodyguards to, you know, bodyguard your bodice 24 hours a day. Then you'll be safe from the really old white woman. There you go. You don't need to take a Democratic votes, which is majority votes. But I also find that I'm going to call the FBI on you for the AIs. Maybe contact the FBI over these alleged Scientology abuses. Oh no, no, because she didn't suffer really any real abuse. I mean, believe me, real people who grew up in the ghetto, like I'm going to include myself, by the way, right? Like I heard gunfire as a kid. If they like, she listed like they did this to me, they'd be like, so I saw people shot in the street. I've seen dead bodies all the time. That's nothing. They just look at her like she's crazy. Like, I'll take that any day of the week. That sounds like, oh, by the way, because she thinks I don't know her. In her old videos, she was bragging. It didn't mean anything. It'd say, oh, you need to listen to this Hubbard lecture, and she'd ignore them. So her whole life is just phony nonsense. But hey, she's scared now. This old woman was terrorizing me for years and years and years. Okay, well, you're tough in your ghetto. Deal with it. Deal with it, tough ghetto girl. Why don't you do that? Why do you keep whining online about AI? This is what tough gangster women do? Really? I don't know. Doesn't sound right to me. But what do I know? I actually did grow up in a ghetto. Nobody acts like you. Nobody knows you either. Believe me, I could start making some phone calls. Hey, Diane Nutcase, do you know her? They'd be like, no, I don't know her. She knows she's tough. She's down. She was in the streets. I'm sure they'd be like, no, no, I don't think she was. Oh, she's like world famous. She knows stuff. She's like quarter half Mexican. It's like, yeah, that's a good practical joke. I'm gonna get back to real stuff. Me too. I'm gonna get back to reality.